interesting question on the topic of projectile. So let's see and read the question first. The question says the particle is projected from the ground. So this is the particle. And simultaneously a wedge starts moving towards the right. So this is your wedge, which is moving towards the right. The maximum height of the wedge for which the particle will not hit the wedge is. So we have to find this maximum height of the wedge for which the particle will not hit this is the maximum height, right? So let's say, how do we find this? Okay. Now, what is the velocity of the wedge? 1 meter per second. So the velocity of the particle at 10 meter per second, right? It is 10 meter per second cos 53 in x-axis, right? And the velocity of the wedge in the x-axis is 1 meter per second, right? So if you calculate the relative velocity of the particle with respect to wedge as seen by the wedge, it will be v particle minus v wedge is equal to 10 into 0.6, and this will be minus 1, right? So this will become 6 minus 1 is equal to 5 meter per second, right? This is the relative velocity of the particle with respect to the wedge. How much distance it requires to cover the relative distance now, because we are keeping everything as relative. So the distance between them is equal to 1 meter. So therefore, the time required horizontally to cover 1 meter with the help of this velocity will be given by 1 by 5 is equal to 0.1 second, which is 0.2 second, right? So in 0.2 second, if this was stationary, this particle would start moving upwards and, it will start approaching the highest point. Unfortunately, this was not given to us, right? The base should have been given to us. I would have added this also to the extra distance it has to travel, but it is not given. So I am assuming this is the height being asked for. Okay. Now in 0.12 second, it will reach the wedge. Slightly wrong question, but let's do it. What is the maximum y? Y is equal to ut minus half GET square. So you have to find y when 0.2 seconds have elapsed, right? So 0.2 u is basically going to be u sine 53, which is going to be it is going to be 8, because 10 into 0.8 is u sine 53, right? So this is 8 into 0.2 minus half g, let's take it as 10 as given in the question, 0.2 square, right? So this will become 1.6, right? The first expression. Let's solve. What do we get, right? This is 1.6. Okay. 1.6 minus 5 into 2 into 2 by 100, right? So this is 520, and this will become 4 5s are. So 1.6 minus 1 by 5 is equal to 1.6 minus 0.2, right? 1 by 5 is 0.2. So this will become 1.4 is equal to 14 by 10 is equal to 7 by 5. I think which answer is correct then? Look into the answers. I think the particle after 1 second will attain a height, and the particle is likely to be somewhere here, right? In the question, they have not given what is this extra distance. If this extra distance was also given, I would have used this distance to calculate the time taken to reach this height. This was missing completely, right? So this is also one mistake in the question. I actually used 1 meter as this distance which is being covered, whereas the actual distance to hit this should be this, right? Total. Either this distance should be total 1 meter. If this is the total distance and the mistake is in the figure, then our approach is correct. The answer is 7 by 5. So 7 by 5 is smaller than all of these, right? So it is going to strike the wedge. one answer should have been less than 7 by 5. So if you're getting 7 by 5, one of the answers could be, for example, 12 by 10, right? 6 by 5 is equal to 1.2 meter. Only this wedge, the particle could not strike because it is lower than the height of the particle after 1 second. So take this question to be a wrong question, because I think it is not given in the question as to what is the length of the wedge. And therefore, I think we are only restricted to assuming this part of the question. So I hope you enjoyed this question. At least the concept was clear. What I did was used relative velocity to solve the question. And sometimes it's a very handy trick if you are analyzing two motions. So solving the equations of two bodies becomes difficult. And if you find relative motion in one of the axes, use it to your advantage and you will get a shorter trick to solve the question. Thank you very much.